I've been used to racing in like SCCA events, and their rules are very, very strict and tight, especially when it comes to car modifications. Here, you don't have those restrictions. You can run what you brung. And I really like everybody's approach to how they do things. I chose the Evo route. I really think that car is very strong, and I look at all the different components. Everybody tends to go Corvette because it's so strong on the road course, and everybody wants to have those bragging rights. But in the end, you have to do well in everything, and I'm just different. I want to do something different, and I want to make that car successful.
There's plenty of guys that you'll see parked at the car show over at the Corvette Museum that are there just to show it off and shine it. But there's also a lot of guys like us just look at the aftermarket industry and SEMA, what this whole series was based on. There's a bunch of us that want to go fast. Everybody's been referring to this as a mini OUSCI. There's the best of the best are pretty much here.
You got Danny Pop, 3-time defending champion. You got Mike Dussault, just won LS Best West, just won NOLA, beat me there. You got Paul Curley, who's extremely fast and quick, did really well at Midwest Muscle Car. You got Brian Johnson, just won Midwest Muscle Car and beat a lot of fast guys.
Yeah, it's really neat, the variety in this series, the fact that there are so many different kinds of cars out here competing with each other, and you know, we're all just out here to have fun, and that's one of the fun parts about it, is getting to race against people in Evos and Corvettes and who knows what, old trucks, everything. It's a really fun group to race with.
And I'll start with this, I'm not a Corvette guy at all. I'm not even a GM guy. Both my last cars have been GM cars, but the Corvette platform allows you to do a lot of stuff. For one, without ripping fenders, you can fit a ton of tire under them. On the Z06 and the ZR1, you can fit a ton of tire without getting too crazy. $1 per horsepower per performance level, you really can't beat a Corvette.
They have a proven pedigree. I mean, they build some of the best race cars in the world.
Jordan Priestley, who's always been quick in GT class, has now switched cars, and he's got a C7 Grand Sport, which is a very light package and is a viable contender for the overalls.
It's fun to be competitive in GT. We podiumed every race last year. We won Pikes Peak. We had a good season. But we want to go out here and go for overall win. So this is our first debut event with our C7 dubbed Bernice. So it's actually like a Greek mythology type stuff, but Bernice means brings victory.
And it is June, and it is Kentucky, and it is time to get it on and quit sorting your car out. It's showtime. Day one is autocross day. So the first thing you do when you get here is you go walk the course and check it out and see what you have to deal with all day long. It's an all-day affair. Walking the course has its value. You could show up cold turkey and go out and run it and learn it that way. But you know what? You never know. I don't know how many times I've come to these events, and my very first lap was a conservative lap because I'm learning the course, and that ended up being my fast time for several hours. Now, in looking at this course, the first half, the half that goes away from the start-finish, is pretty straightforward. I mean, everybody's going to pretty much do the same thing, I think. But coming back with all-wheel drive and all, it's a pretty wide open track leading to the finish line. So my main focus is how much speed can I carry through all that stuff and go as fast as I can through the finish line. Bottom line is you do anything you can to help yourself.
My name is Jeremy. This is my 2011 Corvette ZR1. This is, in my opinion, the ultimate Corvette.
Yeah, design and engineering, you just never know what's going to happen. So yeah, I get nervous because so much hinges on those results of how you're going to do in the race here. You know, they've seen 5 cars, now a BMW, you know, Ford Focus, Brian Johnson's Camaro. So they've seen it. So now they get a chance to see the Evo. So I'm waiting for my turn where a judge doesn't like an import or something and he just scores it bad just because that's how he feels about it. Look at the interior of this car, isn't it gorgeous? All leather, used to be vinyl. It's leather now. Nobody does that to an Evo. Nobody's that crazy.
We fully expect, you know, with this new platform to be a top 5 overall car at every event we enter going forward. I mean, there's the confidence level with that platform and with that car for me is just through the roof.
All these cars are getting strong. They're all really fast, and it doesn't matter if you're in a 67 Camaro that's tricked out, a C5 Corvette that's tricked out, or an Evo like what we have. You got to remember the driver is a major component of that package, and it also comes down to the driver. You can have all the horsepower in the world, and if you can't drive, it ain't going to work for you. So you have to be on your game. You have to be that component that is 100%, just like everything else on that car, in order to be successful.
You want to see where you stack up. You hope the top guys are out there, so maybe you were a couple tenths behind them at the last event or a couple seconds, and you can kind of see where you're at. So if you've improved the car or you've improved yourself, hopefully maybe you beat them, maybe you've improved to get a little closer to them.
This Camaro, it's a big heavy car, but it's a great foundation. It's a great body structure, a great suspension design, and it really does hold its own against the smaller, lighter cars just because of how good of a fundamental package that GM put together.
Everybody's different when it comes to autocross. Guys like Danny can go out the first lap and bang, you know, lay down the time that, you know, he will beat everybody and nobody will surpass. We laid down a respectable time, you know, I thought. .29.2, and Danny was at a 28.3.
Yeah, no, every year the competition rises, people learn how to drive better, makes it more and more competitive at the top. There's more cars, more people. It's fun.
So, you know, we're 9/10 off of, you know, best in the world. Asphalt is funny. Rubber is funny. Temperature, especially when you're talking about a 200 tread wear tire, temperature changes everything when it comes to grip. Well, I kind of overcooked that.
Yeah, it took off like a bandit.
Yeah. Second run, you know, I was pretty aggressive and almost spun it in the second cone. Gathered it back up and still ran a 29.6. Definitely gave away a full second there, so I think we put together a whole lap. We should be in the hunt. I think the goal is to try and finish third or second, and of course first. But we got to be top 3. That's what we need. So I'm gonna pull out the secret weapon now. I haven't even changed my shoes yet.
All right.
So we're putting on the driving shoes now.
All right.
Now that we know the course. You have to have mad respect for some of these drivers out here. Brian Johnson's perfect case in point. You know, he's dominated a GT class with his Camaro, and it's a big, heavy car on this course.
Yeah, this autocross, it's a little tighter than it has been the last couple years. They've got the kart track down on the end now, so the pad is a little bit smaller. It's a little bit tight and twisty, which doesn't favor my car. I like, it works a lot better on the bigger, faster, more open courses.
You know, he can really wheel this car, and he gets into the time bracket that is in the top 10. You know, the guy's really, really good. So, you know, there's a lot of good drivers in this series, and some are brand new and coming to it, which is really cool. We got some young guys that are really fast. You got some newcomers that are autocross experts that show up, and they do really, really well. So it's great to see the level of competition that keeps showing up and pushing us to run as hard as we can.
Can I say that on TV?
That Grand Sport is the pinnacle of Corvette technology right now.
And that was our last run, and we finally dipped into the 28s. And that's, at this point in time, that's a huge accomplishment. It's been a little struggle for us today.
We've taken it and just taken it to the next level.
There's a lot of cars that are close. I mean, there's a lot of cars that are stacked up. There's a lot of good autocrossers here. So every 10th counts. A 10th of a second can mean 3 places. It's that close. Sold is super smooth. In fact, you watch him off the start line and it looks like the car is really slow, and it doesn't look dramatic at all around the course, but yet, bang, there's the fast time of the day. So 27.9.
27.9. Clean. At least that's what I
27.9
heard.
clean. Really hot out. Track temperature's pretty warm, warmest it's been all day. And with this place, NCM, when it gets hot, too hot, you're just not going to go any faster. You're going to go slower and slower. So that last run, we're only a 10th slower than our best.
Mike, the fastest guy in the autocross. So how's it today? Well, how's the surface? Is the surface good today for your car? Is it optimized?
It always feels slick here to me. I always feel like this is slick, so.
Will you go faster? Well, this next run will be faster than your record-setting run you put on the SmackDown on Danny Pop. And sorry, Ken, they're both a little quicker than you.
Let's get that Texas boy an old 1.4 here, hopefully.
You watch Danny's style, and you know his driving style is wild. You know, he drives that car really hard and sideways and really runs it to the max. You know, right now I think we're looking pretty good, but we need to leapfrog Mike. It'd be nice to catch Danny. Danny is now in front of Mike, so it's Danny, Mike, and me. So that's the battle going on right now. Once I had the good launch, I'm going, okay, let's go. And I pushed and pushed and pushed, and you know, it's a shame it can't stay that way all day. I've driven a lot of cars, I've raced a lot of different cars, and how does this Evo rank as far as excitement level? And this car is absolutely wicked radical. It's got a short wheelbase, all-wheel drive, turbo power. It's just wild and crazy, and it's a handful. Everything happens so quickly. The boost comes up and you're shot out of a cannon. It's got launch control, ABS. I mean, the car, it's got, you know, a sequential gearbox. So you're pulling gears, you're rowing gears really fast. Everything happens really quickly. So it's extremely exciting, and you really got to be on top of your game or else that car will get away from you.
but it's not entry anymore. It's past entry.
Yeah.
Entry's good now.
Entry's good, and then it's just sliding. I was disappointed in how we finished in the autocross. The kind of lead guys take off and they separate themselves from the pack, and then the pack comes to you.
Yeah.
As they learn the course and they get faster and they get their act together. And it's like at OUSCI you get 3 runs and then you're done. We were running third to Danny and Mike DeSold all day long, and we slipped to 6th place overall in the last 2 laps of the autocross. We weren't able to keep up. It was hot, and we've got the skinniest tire of the front running group, and you know, we just didn't have the grip that we needed to keep up, and we got past. So I was a little disappointed with that. You know, like I say, you know, these events to me are testing events under race conditions, and we're all focusing on OUSCI, the championships in Vegas. And so, you know, if you get 3 runs in Vegas, so, you know, we would have been 3rd if you added it up, which I would have been happy with.